Today, we're diving into a story called The Tumpat Islands. It's a memoir about a life that took a massive, unexpected turn back in June of 2025. It's really about what happens when you lose everything you thought defined you and end up finding what actually matters.
So let's start with a question I think we've all asked ourselves at some point. What happens when the life you so carefully planned just completely falls apart? Well, for a young man named Razif, this wasn't just some late-night thought. It was his new reality.
And this first part of his story is called An Unplanned Destiny. It all begins in the hustle and bustle of Kuala Lumpur, where a really promising corporate career suddenly slams on the brakes. And wow, this slide really paints a picture, doesn't it? On the left, that was his past. A prestigious job, flying overseas for meetings, living that polished, successful life you see on social media. But on the right, that's his present. Contract terminated, driving for Grab, and feeling this deep, crushing sense of shame. As the memoir says, his whole ego was just shattered.
But right when things are at their worst, his mother offers him this incredible piece of wisdom, a little seed of hope. She tells him, perhaps Allah wants to give you a better path. Perhaps he wants you to find a job that truly suits your soul. And that one sentence, well, it becomes the very first nudge toward a future he could have never, ever imagined.
So while he's figuring things out, he doesn't just sit around. He starts driving for Grab, back in his hometown of Ipoh. I mean, it's a world away from his old life, but it gives him a little bit of purpose, helps pay the bills. It's a small step, but it's a step back toward feeling in control. And then his dad chimes in with this amazing story of his own. He says, I was once posted to a school deep in the forests. That was where I met your mother. The message here is so clear. Sometimes the path you really don't want to take is the one that leads you to your greatest happiness. Okay, so with that encouragement, things start moving. This next chapter is all about the journey to Tumpat. This is where Razif actually answers the call, leaving behind everything he knows for this land of rivers and islands that up until now, he's only seen in a video.
So he gets the job. He's officially going to be a teacher. But his posting, it's to a place called SMK Pulau Beluru, a remote school in Tumpat, Kelantan that's accessible only by boat. His only point of reference was a TikTok he'd seen of teachers on a boat heading to some small wooden jetty. I mean, can you imagine the shock? When he finally arrives, it's just this total sensory experience. This slide kind of captures those first impressions. Getting the key to his homestay from a smiling man named Pak La, feeling that gentle breeze coming off the river, hearing the sound of a small boat in the dark, and smelling the strong, unfamiliar scent of the estuary. It's totally foreign, but there's a real sense of calm to it all. So he's arrived. Now he has to actually figure out how to live here, which brings us to the island school and this new community he finds waiting for him at the Kok Majid jetty. I mean, forget your morning traffic jam. His first commute to school is a boat ride, surrounded by his new colleagues, just gliding through the morning mist on the Kelantan River. He says it felt like he had literally stepped right into an episode of National Geographic. And just to give you a sense of the scale of this place, look at this number. 33. That's how many islands make up this river delta. It's this huge, unique water world that he is now a part of. And get this, of those 33 islands, 13 of them actually have people living on them. And as one school, it serves all of them. All of a sudden, you realize this isn't just some remote job. This school is the educational lifeline for thousands of people living across this incredible landscape. Now, the school itself, it's not some shiny new building. It's modest. The memoir describes its walls as being faded by years and years of wind and sun from the estuary. This isn't a place built for looks. It's a place of resilience, built to stand strong and serve its community. And it's here that a new friend and colleague, Segu Fauzi, gives him probably the single most important piece of advice he'll get for this new job. He just says, the students here need teachers who are patient. It's not about being the smartest or having the most experience. It's about having the heart for it. All right, so this is where it all comes together. This is the moment that really defines his new path. It's the emotional core of the whole story, his first official day of school. He's watching the students show up for school. And they're not getting off buses, they're arriving in these little boats, some of them even being rowed by their parents. And this is the detail that really gets you. They're carrying their school bags in plastic bags just to protect their books from the river water. That's the reality of their daily commitment to getting an education. Then there is a ceremony, and a visiting official from the Ministry of Education stands up,
and delivers this incredibly powerful line. He says, "No child in these islands should be left behind. The teachers serving here are heroes of the nation." In an instant, this reframes his entire job. He's not just some teacher in a remote place. He's a nation builder where it's needed most.
But it's this one small moment that just hits him right in the heart. During a ceremony where they're handing out tablets, he sees this one young boy just hugging the device like it is the most precious gift he has ever received. In that 1 second, the value of what they're doing becomes so real. And then his colleague, Ustaz Ahmad, just sums it all up perfectly. He looks at the kids and says, "Their smiles are like the light of a brighter future. Our job is to make sure that light never fades." And that right there gives Razif a mission, a clear and profound one.
And that's it. That is the turning point. He's just standing there, looking out at the river, surrounded by all the hope and the need of this community, and he whispers to himself, "Ya Allah, I accept this responsibility." All the doubt, all the shame, all the uncertainty, it just washes away, and it's replaced by pure purpose. So, this is him. He steps into his first class, Form 3 Science, with his heart just pounding in his chest. He's not the man who lost his job anymore. He's a teacher, and he is ready to begin.
And really, this whole story leaves us with a pretty big question to think about, doesn't it? We spend so much time and energy planning out our lives, but could it be that our greatest purpose, our truest self, is waiting for us in the one place we never, ever expected to look?